Chapter 67:31. The old man's heartfelt talk made Charlie feel desperate. He had never thought about this problem so deeply before. On the one hand, he felt that it was not time to make a choice. And on the other hand, he knew that it was difficult to find a suitable optimal solution for this kind of thing. What Grandpa said was of course correct. As long as he could solve the Peching Society and get rid of Victoria, he must openly recognize his ancestors and return to the Yi family, letting the whole world know that Changing and Margaret's child is back. If that day comes, how should he face Claire? She will know everything eventually. It's just a matter of time. Thinking of this, Charlie couldn't help sighing in his heart. Many things, once you start lying, will be countless lies. During this period of time, he not only concealed his identity from Claire, but also concealed many things, many of which were related to her parents. Apart from anything else, the first time Elaine went to jail was when she was sent there by herself, after she stole her bank card and transferred the balance to the card. At that time, Claire was anxious, but she was acting all kinds of things. Once her identity was exposed, she should be able to figure out these things. Seeing that he remained silent, Zheng Chuan knew that his words had taken effect on him. So he said, "Charlie, think about this matter carefully. If you have time in the next 2 days, go visit your Uncle Gu." Charlie sighed. "I wanted to visit, and I had already agreed with Sarah that I would pick her up tomorrow morning and visit her home. But you told me so many unexpected things. How can I have the nerve to visit now?" Zheng Chuan asked in surprise. "Are you going to pick up Sarah?" "Sarah is coming back." "Yes," Charlie said. "Sarah is on her way back to China. She should be in Eastcliff tomorrow morning. I agreed to pick her up." Zheng Chuan immediately questioned, "Why?" "You agreed to pick her up. But just because of what I told you. You are not going to pick her up. That little girl came back from abroad from afar, flew for more than 10 hours, and was waiting happily to see you as soon as she landed. But you are going to stand her up." Charlie also had a headache. "I didn't say I wouldn't answer it. I just don't know how to face them. Especially Uncle and Aunt." Zheng Chuan waved his hand. "You don't have to worry so much. He will never tell you these things in person. Otherwise he wouldn't discuss it with me. If you are thick-skinned enough, you will pretend that you know nothing at that time. If he doesn't mention it, you won't mention it. Wouldn't you just turn the page again?" Charlie looked at Zheng Chuan and said depressedly, "Grandpa, you can't speak with personal opinions. Don't you mean that I am thick-skinned?" Zheng Chuan quickly distanced himself from the matter. "I don't mean that. Am I not giving you advice? Think about it and you will know that the advice Grandpa gave you is the best way. If you don't agree to this, you can only play dumb. If you directly refuse your uncle, it will be equivalent to slapping the faces of the 3 people. You must know that the 3 people have been waiting for you for 20 years. Charlie was depressed. He naturally knew that it was impossible to directly refuse Philip's family. How big a face he had to do such a thing. Chapter 67:32. The kindness of the three people in that family to him can be said to be something that he can never repay. And they are willing to marry their precious daughter to him. And even willing to let their daughter carry on his family line first. Even if they beat him to death. He can't directly say anything to refuse. So, for the time being, he can only play dumb. Although Charlie knew that his grandfather was playing tricks on him, he couldn't say anything more at this time. He could only sigh, "Okay, Grandpa, thank you for your idea. I know what to do." Zheng Chuan nodded and smiled, "That's good. Since you still have to go to your uncle's house, then I think you should stay at his house for lunch tomorrow. You have to bring Sa over in the evening and we'll have dinner together. To be honest, I haven't seen her for so long. And I miss her as her elder." Charlie knew that this was all unavoidable etiquette. No matter what his relationship with Sa was. It was natural for her to return to Eastcliff to visit the old man. So he agreed and said, "Let me know after I see Sa. And I'll come to visit you tomorrow." "Okay." Zheng Chuan was very happy, and said with a smile, "Let's not go out to eat tomorrow. And have a family dinner at home. By the way, since Sa is coming, why not let the family of three come together?" Charlie was anxious. "Grandpa, what are you doing?" Zheng Chuan smiled and said, "Nothing. I haven't had dinner with the three of them for a long time. As their elder, it's no problem for them to come to see me as a family of three." Charlie was helpless. "You decide. If you plan to invite the family of three to come over, it would be more appropriate for you to call Uncle Jiyu in person. And I won't pass the message in between." "Okay." Zheng Chuan agreed without hesitation, and said with a smile, "After you pick up Sa tomorrow, go to her house to meet your Uncle Jiyu and Aunt Lin. I will call him at noon and invite him to come home in the evening. I'm sure he won't refuse." "Okay." Charlie knew that he was the most passive in this situation. And it would be wrong to say anything, so he simply said nothing. Zheng Chuan said again, "Charlie, I want to call your aunt over, what do you think?" In this way, the three members of the Jiyu family and the three generations of our family are suitable. Charlie's aunt, Cynthia, was exempted from guarding the mausoleum in the ancestral tomb because she had to take care of the old man. The other members of the family have not been able to come down from the mountain yet. Charlie did not hate Cynthia. The old man doted on her, and Charlie knew it in his heart. It is estimated that the old man also wanted to ease the relationship between him and his aunt. So Charlie nodded, "You decide everything." "Okay, okay." Zheng Chuan said with a smile. "Then it's settled. I'll make arrangements tomorrow. You go and have a good rest first. Don't you have to go to the airport to pick up Sa very early?" Charlie was also a little tired, so he said, "Then I'll go to my father's study and sit for a while." Standing up and saying goodbye to the old man. Charlie came to his father's study. Everything was still arranged many years ago, and every decoration could bring back his childhood memories. Sometimes Charlie also felt that the old man was quite pitiful. The only son who could be called a great talent died young, and the remaining members of the Wade family were worse than each other, and were not worth mentioning at all. This is why the old man has always kept this place as it is. He often sits here alone for a whole day without saying a word, missing the son who made him most proud. Charlie sat in front of his father's desk, with a question in his mind. If his father were still alive, what choice would he let him make? To be loyal to the marriage, to be loyal to the orders of the parents, or to be loyal to the family? It seems that the latter two choices are the same. Chapter 67:33. The night in East Cliff was clear and cold. Charlie lay in bed tossing and turning, unable to sleep. The past, present and future. In his mind, they were like the confluence of three rivers, making him confused. At this moment, in a blue brick courtyard of a temple in Putuo Mountain, thousands of kilometers away, a picturesque woman was sitting on a rattan chair in the courtyard, looking up at the vast starry sky. The woman had beautiful features and an extraordinary temperament. More than 50 years had only left a few fine wrinkles at the corners of her eyes. This woman was Charlie's biological mother, Margaret. At this time, Sister Sun, who was old but very strong, walked quickly into the yard and said respectfully, "Madam, Leon reported that the master of the Wade family had a long talk with Charlie today." "Oh?" Margaret asked her curiously. "What did my father-in-law talk about with Charlie?" Sister Sun said respectfully, "Madam, they were talking about Miss Gu. Sawa." Margaret had a gentle smile on her face and asked, "What did they talk about, Sawa?" Sister Sun then reported the news to Margaret in detail. The more Margaret listened, the more surprised he was. And finally, she couldn't help but exclaim, "He also has a lot of good intentions." Sister Sun nodded, "I think so too. The Gu family's treatment of the young master is indeed admirable." Margaret sighed, "My father-in-law is right. Charlie will one day return to the Wade family, and return to the public eye as the heir of the Wade family. By then, Claire may not be able to accept it." Sister Sun asked her, "Madam, what do you think is the best solution to this matter?" Margaret's expression froze, and she pondered for a long time before saying seriously, "There is more than one optimal solution. But none of them is to maintain the status quo." Sister Sun hurriedly asked, "Do you mean that the young master and Claire are not suitable for each other?" "Yes." Margaret nodded. After a moment, she said with emotion, "In my opinion, the relationship between the two is not pure. And there are too many hidden dangers. Once Charlie solves Victoria's troubles and returns to the Wade family, what awaits him will be the triple blessing of the Wade family, the Yin family, and his own strength. By then, he will be the most dazzling new star in the world. If there is news of divorce with Claire at that time, It will not be a good thing for him. Sister Sun nodded and asked respectfully. Then, madam, do you have any solution? Margaret was silent for a moment and said, Claire's parents are uncontrollable factors. But Claire herself should still be controllable. I wonder if there is any way to let her know Charlie's identity by chance. Ah? Sister Sun asked nervously. If she knows the young master's life experience, wouldn't that put the young master in danger? Margaret said seriously, that's why I said it must be controllable. If Claire knew Charlie's identity, knew that Charlie had deceived her before, and knew the mission Charlie was carrying, then what decision do you think she would make? Sister Sun thought for a while. She will probably divorce the young master, right? Yes. Margaret nodded. If her character is not acted, then with her temperament, she will probably divorce Charlie. On the one hand, there is the disappointment brought by being deceived for a long time. And on the other hand, there is the blood feud hidden behind Charlie's life experience. If she really loves Charlie, I believe she will choose to confront him. Leave quietly with this secret, and won't even tell her parents. Sister Sun asked hurriedly, Madam, do you mean to tell Claire all the causes and consequences of the matter? Yes. Chapter 67:34. Margaret said seriously, it's time to let her know. In addition, Charlie's current situation is not suitable for him to have too many worries. If she can leave Charlie, even if it is only temporarily, it will be beneficial to Charlie without any harm. Sister Sun asked again. Then how should we let Claire know? There must be a very convincing person to face Claire in order to convince her. After that, she asked, Madam, how about I find a chance to meet her? You are not suitable. Margaret refused decisively, and said seriously, You have also been a person who has been missing for many years in this world. If you go to see her and tell her these things, she may not believe it. Sister Sun asked, Then who do you think is more suitable? Margaret said, In the whole world, there is only one person who is suitable, and that person is Leon. Then, Margaret said, If we let the Wade family or the Yin family tell Claire, it will certainly be convincing. But Charlie will definitely blame them when he knows it in the future. These people are his relatives and are not suitable to be the villain. Let Leon bear the grievance. He has worked for the Wade family for many years, and his information can be found everywhere on the internet. Let him say it, Claire will not doubt it. Sister Sun suddenly realized, nodded lightly, and said, It is still Madam who should consider it. It's more thoughtful to let Leon do this. It's really the right thing to do. She thought of something and asked quickly, Madam, what if Claire doesn't plan to leave the young master after knowing this? Margaret said lightly, It doesn't matter if she doesn't leave. Charlie can be said to be vigorous and decisive in any matter. But this matter is dragged on and he is hesitant. He dared not tell Claire the truth, so that there are many hidden dangers in their relationship. If Claire doesn't plan to leave Charlie after knowing this, then she will definitely choose to stay with Charlie and live a good life with Charlie. That would be a good thing compared to the current situation of neither up nor down. As a mother-in-law, Margaret has some complaints about Claire. Let alone anything else, the two have been married for several years and have not yet been husband and wife. This is probably unacceptable to any mother-in-law. If Claire can leave Charlie, Margaret is willing to pay her a breakup fee of $10 billion. So that she can have no worries about food and clothing for the rest of her life. In this way, Charlie can also get rid of this deformed marriage relationship and get complete freedom. If Claire is unwilling to leave Charlie, then what she has done will also put great pressure on Claire, forcing her to take a step further with Charlie. At least to have a real marriage first. Therefore, in Margaret's view, either of these two results is much better than the current one. Since Charlie is reluctant to take this step, then as a mother, she will find a way to help him take it. So, she immediately said to Sister Sun, "Let Leon get ready and return to the country quietly." Sister Sun nodded, "Okay, I'll contact him right away." Margaret instructed again, "Tell him not to come back by plane. And find a reliable waterway." Charlie now has an AI model. If he enters the country through formal channels, he will be easily monitored by his AI model. Sister Sun said, "Madam, the waterway may be very slow, and it may take next month to arrive in the country." "It's okay." Margaret said, "It doesn't matter if it's slow. The most important thing is not to leave any clues. If Charlie finds him, it means he has found me. He has plenty of ways to get information about me from Leon." Chapter 67:35. In the early morning, Charlie drove an inconspicuous business car and left the Wade family for the airport. Because Sarah was returning by private jet, the outside world did not know her itinerary. At dawn, the plane landed at the airport, and Charlie waited outside the VIP building until several well-trained men and women in black escorted a young woman wearing a peaked cap and a mask and walked over quickly. Charlie lowered the passenger window, and Sarah saw him at a glance. Then, he took a few quick steps and ran towards him. She was wrapped tightly, revealing only a pair of big eyes. But Charlie could still see her joy and excitement from her eyebrows. A female bodyguard of the Jiu family stepped forward quickly and opened the passenger door first. Sarah also sat in immediately, looked at Charlie happily, and said sweetly, "Charlie, how long have you been here?" Charlie smiled slightly. "I just arrived a while ago." Sarah quickly closed the car door and the car window and said to Charlie, "Charlie, let's go home directly. My parents are waiting at home." Charlie asked her, "Uncle and Aunt got up so early?" Sarah smiled, "Usually they don't get up so early. The key is that we are going back today." "I understand." Charlie nodded, drove out of the airport, and drove to Goose House. At this time, the sun had just risen halfway, and the traffic in the capital was very smooth. It took less than 40 minutes for the two to drive the car to the door of the Jiu family mansion. Philip and Lenon went out to greet them in person. When Charlie parked the car and got out with Sarah, the couple was very happy. Philip hadn't seen Charlie and Sarah for a while. During this period of time, his daughter had been abroad, and he missed her very much. Seeing the two of them coming back together now gave him the feeling of a daughter returning to her parents' home with her husband after she got married. He thought to himself that if they really got married in the future, they could come back together often to see him and his wife, which would be quite exciting. Because of the conversation with his grandfather yesterday, Charlie felt a little nervous and ashamed when he saw the couple. He walked forward unnaturally and greeted the two of them. "Hello, Uncle, Aunt." Philip had long regarded him as his own son. He patted his shoulder and said with great relief, "Your Aunt Lynn and I was still talking about when you would come home a few days ago. We didn't expect that you would get your wish so soon." Lynn caressed Sarah's face lovingly and said to Charlie with a smile, "Charlie, you don't know that your uncle talks about you many times every day. More times than he talks about Sarah." Philip smiled. "Sarah is performing outside, and I am more worried about her, but not worried. But Charlie always has to compete with those evil people openly and secretly. And there are many crises. As an elder, I am naturally worried about him." He took Charlie's arm, smiled, and said, "Come on, Charlie, let's go in and talk. Uncle has a lot of things to ask you." Charlie was nervous, but he could only bite the bullet and follow him into the house. After entering the house, Philip invited him to sit on the sofa. There were 3 sofas in the Gu family's living room. Philip and Charlie sat on one side, and Lynn and Sarah sat on the other side.